guys, I'm Elkems and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here then just welcome. I make Reddit videos. Today we're going to be visiting an old friend, a subreddit that we haven't been on in a while, r/BadRoommates. But before we get into today's video, while I've got your attention, if you do like Reddit content then feel free to leave a like on this video, maybe even a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's post, shall we? We're starting out today's episode with a post from the user Gravy Baby, and this one is titled, "Roommates moved all my kitchen stuff while I was away." I was away from the house that I rent in London for about 7 months because my dad was sick and he ended up passing away. I was still paying rent for the house in London as well as paying separately for bills on top of that, which of course I wasn't contributing to. While I was away, someone put in the house group chat that they wanted to take my space in the fridge as well as the one in the cupboard, to which I replied those are my spaces and I've been away so long because my dad died. Then one person in particular, right after my message, flooded the group chat with a bunch of messages about keeping the place clean and didn't acknowledge anything about me and my spaces, and it honestly felt like he sent those messages to drown out my own message. I returned to my house in London and all of my kitchen supplies have been moved from both cupboards and the fridge. They put my stuff in an effing cupboard out in the shed as well as a credenza in the sitting room. There is other places in the kitchen with shelves free. I don't understand why they had to take my space, and I could try to make it work, but the point is, they knew my situation. I was still paying rent and bills and they continue to do this. People are so selfish and I'm so annoyed. I want my spaces back, but honestly I don't have the capacity in me for this to end up in an argument. I would love to know some advice. Wow, these people are just terrible. They knew the fact that you were with your father who's sick and who had then passed away, and they still just pillaged your stuff. That's so rude. My advice to the OP would be that if they want to start a little roommate war, get your wall paint on. When they go low, you go lower. See, OP, when you live with people, there's a general rule of thumb that you respect each other's belongings, and they've basically tossed that rule into the bin, so now it's fair game. Do what you want. OP, you mentioned that you had a specific space in the cupboards and in the fridge for your food, and they've taken that. So now I think whatever's in those spaces, yours, because those were your spaces to store your food. If they've put their food in there, well, it's yours now, eat it. And perhaps OP, one of your roommates put a vase in the living room and you find it rather tacky. Well, you know, we're allowed to touch each other's belongings now, so why don't you just take it, put it in storage? Or better, just chuck it in the bin, since they've already established that we can touch each other's stuff. And I think the real cherry on top of this cake would be if you so happen to just start playing really, really loud music really early in the morning, really late at night. You know, just really driving that lack of respect that they've established. I think they deserve it. I actually hate the roommates so much in this situation. It's making me so angry to think about, because OP's been through something so awful and they're so upset already, and then they come home, you know, probably expecting a bit of peace and like to just finally be able to relax, and they come home to find out that they've been disrespected in this way, and that's just like rubbing salt in the wound. And it's just so sad to me as well, because the OP literally says like how drained they feel and they don't have the mental capacity to be dealing with this or to start an argument, which is honestly why I said to just take the petty route, because you know, you don't have to blow up and cause a big argument, just be really petty and passive aggressive and slowly but surely make their life really hard. But okay, let's just move on to the next post. This one's by Tiana Jewel and it's titled, "My new roommate is disgusting and entitled, but also hot." Okay, OP, I have to admit that you've got me hooked with that title. I'm very intrigued. She's used and ate my food since day one and I barely had anything to begin with. My chocolate covered pomegranate seeds, my rice, my noodles, my cheese sticks. Oh no, not the cheese sticks. Oh, that's like a criminal offence. Today I found my unopened rice bag open in the bloody dishes cabinet of all cabinets, and there's so many. She put it open as hell, not even closed, in the cabinet with the plates and bowls and cups, not even back where you found it. Then I have this big ass water filter thing. She never fills it up, but Def fills her 40 Oz tumbler twice a day. On top of that, her room, it smells so bloody bad. Just yesterday, 6 days into moving in, she asked me if I have a litter scoop. You're telling me you haven't scooped up that little ass litter box for 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 days, and the door is mainly closed and that smell still leaks through. Then she just keeps her poor, sweet, so cute kitty locked in her room all day. That baby definitely wants out. Then she never cleans out her baby's bowls. Then, when she moved in, she said she never washes her clothes. Then, she has the nerve to be pretty hot AF. So now, I barely feel the water thing, and next time I bless myself with groceries, I'm hiding all my crap and purposely getting things that she wouldn't touch. Like, how the F? Oh my god, she brought, like, squid. I don't know, that crap had tentacles, and she just left the package open as hell in the fridge with a bowl with it in noodles, open with the fork left in there. Yeah, that's my rant. Thanks for reading. Okay, wow, that was a lot. I feel like I've just had so much thrown at me, like, she did this, she did this, she did this, she did this, and on top of that she did this. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. OP is fully just crashing out as they're writing this, and it's totally valid, but I'm just imagining like the pure amount of keyboard smashing that took place as they was writing this down. But can we just talk about the fact OP's like anger? She's like, and she doesn't clean up, she eats all my food, she's dirty, blah blah blah. And then she ends it like, thanks for reading. Oh, I cringed so bad though when it said that this woman doesn't wash her clothes. How do you not wash your clothes, man? Like, she must honk really bad. And like, they said she never washes her clothes. I think that was OP's like exact words. What the hell does she do then? Does she just wear them until they're dirty and throw them away? OP, my recommendation in this situation would be that if you're renting from a landlord, you should just invite them over, go, hey landlord, do you want to come have a little impromptu visit? And then they can come over and just smell the stench emanating from this woman's room, and then hopefully she'd just get kicked out and you can live in peace. Okay, next we've got a post from lowboard6851, and it's titled, my roommate used my toothbrush by accident 3 times. I, 24M, lived in a shared 3-bedroom apartment with 2 other guys I met through Craigslist. One of them, let's call him Jake, seemed totally fine at first. He was chill, paid rent on time, and worked from home like I do. I don't know, I don't think anyone that you're going to meet on Craigslist is totally chill and fine. But, you know, continue, OP. About a month in, I go to brush my teeth and notice that my toothbrush is wet, like freshly used wet. I thought, okay, maybe I brushed my teeth earlier and forgot. Weird, but whatever. A week later it happens again. Now I'm paranoid, so I mark the handle with a Sharpie and stick it in the back of the cabinet behind my shaving cream. I even start keeping track. Sure enough, a few days later I check and it's moved again and wet. Finally, I ask Jake casually, hey, have you seen my toothbrush by chance? He straight up says, oh, the blue one? Yeah, I used it once or twice when I couldn't find mine. Thought it was a backup. I asked him why he didn't just ask me or use a disposable one. We have extras in the hall closet, and he shrugged it off saying, it's not that big of a deal, man. It's not like I have diseases or anything. I threw the thing out and brought a new one. Didn't even leave it in the bathroom. I started keeping it in my sock drawer like a lunatic. But here's the kicker. He still asked me if he could use my new one just this once, the next time that his went missing. I said no, and he called me uptight about it and made it weird. Nah man, I don't care how broke or lazy you are, we don't share toothbrushes in this household. I'm just counting down the days until the lease ends. Oh my god, the term we don't share toothbrushes in this household is so funny to me, but also like, in what household do we share toothbrushes? I don't think that's normal. This guy is low-key kind of strange. I'm just imagining him like hunting for the house now, looking for the OP's toothbrush to use it. And that's kind of a scary image, but also it's kind of hilarious. Probably not funny for the OP, but, you know, we can find entertainment in it. This is so gross though. I'm just thinking about like how many times had he done this before OP realised? How long was OP using his toothbrush while his roommate was also using it before he figured it out? This gets kind of scary though when you think about the fact that there is another roommate in this situation, but Jake is still targeting OP's toothbrush. OP literally went through the effort of hiding it, and the roommate Jake still like sought out his toothbrush and used that one specifically. And like, I don't know if the other roommate stores his separately, but like, why isn't he using that roommate's? Why has it gotta be OP? That's kind of creepy. Oh, okay, we've got an interesting one now from Fresh Broccoli 6221. I was the gross roommate. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. It's not every day we get one from the perspective of the roommate. So today, my old roommate from my freshman year of college, one who I thought we were friends and got along well with, texted me this. Hey man, I feel pretty bad to tell you this because you've had some rough patches in your life, but when we were roommates I did not like you at all. There were some attributes of your living that made it difficult for me to live with and study. It kind of messed up my entire freshman year. I'm not saying all of it was your fault, but having you as my roommate didn't make it easier for me. To be honest, I was kind of scared to tell you any of this because that would have been awkward and I didn't know how you would have responded to me. Honestly, even if I did tell you all the issues I had, I think it would have been a major lifestyle change for you and I would have felt bad forcing that. I don't hate you at all, but I don't think we should talk anymore. I hope you can forgive me. I wish you the best of luck in your career goals and life in general. Looking back, there was a lot I did. I was having an extreme depressive episode the whole semester, abusive family, loneliness, etc. And there were a lot of things that I did that made everything worse for him. I stayed up really late playing video games, which probably effed up his sleeping. I rarely cleaned my bed sheets and laundry and room in general. And there was trash piled high and food and fluid stains on my sheets that I just slept and rotted in. This is when I was hopelessly addicted to adult content. I had my phone intimacy with my girlfriend, which he heard and then confronted me about, and I changed for a bit before just trying to be more quiet. I did this weird thing where I told her in front of him on call that I hate myself forever for that. I have no idea why I did that to this day, and I'm really disgusted with myself. I always ordered out and had food wrappers and trash all over my side of the room. I sometimes made an effort to clean it up, but still. In fact, the only thing I did to keep myself clean was have a good hygiene routine in the shower and skincare department. I'm disgusted with myself and honestly, excuse the self-pity, kinda hate myself. This behaviour continued into last semester, with the only thing changing is that I tried cleaning up a bit more and doing laundry more often. Other than that, everything stayed the same. I feel gross, disgusted and wish it was better. My next roommate eventually left to go live with his girlfriend, who he'd been dating for only a month. I think this was a cover for getting the hell out of there because I was gross or whatever. I did eventually start getting better. My mum commented that every time she came there, your room is a little cleaner, but I still feel gross and disgusting. I don't know. Yikes, man. I don't want to be too hard on this person because they did state that they were going through quite a lot, but this is just honestly really disrespectful, depressed or not. If you're in a shared living space with someone, especially one that's literally a room, like a singular room, you're bunched up in there with someone else, depressed or not, you need to have basic respect for other people. And to be honest, my pity for OP went out the window the moment that they mentioned they were having intimate phone calls with their girlfriend while this poor guy was in the room. That is disgusting. I'm sure that that's got to count as like public indecency to some degree. You can't be doing that, it's not right. And, you know, I feel bad that they were clearly going through a lot, but they made their roommate basically just suffer through so much because of that, and that's not okay. And I don't really blame the former roommate for sending a text like that. I don't think he was overly rude either. He just sort of laid out his boundaries, explained why he felt that way, saying like, I had a really bad time living with you, and it's probably like the case that the way you were just soured his impression of you. And then he, as politely as he could, just stated that he didn't want to be mates with you no more, and I think it's completely valid. But I will give OP credit because he clearly acknowledges and accepts that he was in the wrong in this situation, that his behaviour was disgusting, and I think even though he clearly feels quite bad about it and he's really ashamed of himself, I think being ashamed of yourself for acting that way is important, like you need to be. If you're like looking at that type of stuff that you did and being anything but ashamed, there's no hope of improvement. The fact that he's like, oh god, I was terrible, I'm so gross, that is ironically a good thing because that's going to be the push he needs to improve himself in his life. Okay, so now we've got a post from OK Tonight 2614. Housemate got drunk, stole someone's burger, I'm the bad guy. And this one, it comes with screenshots. Well, a screenshot, but we'll read that after the actual text. 3 of my housemates were home yesterday evening when I made dinner. I asked Hank, not a real name, if she wanted a burger. She said she didn't. By the time the burgers were done, Hank had fallen on her face on the front porch. I helped another housemate, Rick, to get her back on her feet, and she decided to go to bed. Rick went to get his burger, which I'd left on the table inside the front door. It was gone. Hank took it. That's when I sent the text message. Around 8:30 the next morning, she showed no sign of having seen the text, so I mentioned it. She initially denied it, but said, let's go up to your room right now and see if the plate is in there. She seamlessly shifted into apologies and gave me $6, which is all she had. I guess she saw the text a couple of hours later but didn't realise it had been sent 14 hours earlier. She'd left the house and I had zero interaction with her until my last reply, yet she seems to be responding to something after the last text. I blocked her number. Okay, OP's explanation doesn't really make much sense to me because it seems like they were making dinner regardless. And, Hank was like, nah, I don't want any. So, blah blah blah, Hank goes upstairs but takes said burger anyway. And then, I'm just really confused about what's going on and why this is such a big deal. I mean, it's sad for Rick because he didn't get his burger, but you could have just made another one. And I don't think that they ordered food because, OP said that they were making dinner. So, tad confused, but let's go on to the screenshot that OP's provided. So, OP texts the roommate saying, hey, just so you know, that venison burger you grabbed on your way up to your room was worth about $7. We can settle up whenever you get a chance. See, this is so weird to me. What do you mean it's worth about $7? I'm assuming this is out of, the shared household groceries. So it's really weird that you're asking them to pay you back. And the roommate responds with a slew of texts. The first one being, really, I gave you $6. I'll give you the dollar. And another thing, don't worry, I will never take anything that in the house. I'm not going to argue with you about food. I have plenty of food. You don't have to worry about me again. I gave you $6. I'll leave the dollar on the table. And again, I'm sorry. You know what? Stop it. You effed up. This is war. This is sad. And OP then responds, unsubscribe. Okay, something's not adding up here, because in those first couple texts, the roommate seems really reasonable and, level-headed about it. But then, they just suddenly switch up and they're like, you know what? Stop it. That's making me feel like something went down, and there's about an hour, gap in between those messages, and then, an hour between the other ones. And I'm just feeling like OP said something, but they've hidden it. Because the way that the roommate's been so reasonable, they're like, I'm sorry, you don't have to worry about it, I'll pay you back, blah, blah, blah. But then an hour later, they switch up and they're like, you know what, stop it. I don't think it's likely that came out of nowhere. I think something provoked them to do that. And it appears that I'm not the only person who's thinking that OP's deleted messages. I've been looking through the comments and there's a lot of people saying that they've done that. And one commenter says, how can people tell messages were deleted? I'm genuinely asking so I can fall for less Reddit crap. And a user responds to them and they say, the messages aren't evenly spaced. You see how the you effed up and this is war thinner? This is definitely back to back. But the ones below and above have way thicker gaps, and this is because he deleted messages in between them. Yeah, I noticed that as well, but I brushed it off at first. I was just assuming that messages were deleted because of that jump in reactions, but that makes a lot of sense, actually. And the majority of the comments are literally saying that OP's in the wrong here, and I kind of agree. This isn't a case where we're rating if people are in the wrong, but it seems like everyone's kind of thinking that OP's the bad guy. And honestly, I see what they mean. I mean, OP's causing drama over a burger, and I get that it was kind of rude to take it, but she apologised, and I think that's all that matters. But then, going out of your way and just being really petty and demanding the money back and all of that, they just seem insufferable to have to share a household with. And this commenter says, oh no, you're the weird one here. I thought that you would have at least ordered the burger, but no, you're literally doing math on groceries. This would have been free if she'd said yes, right? But you're charging her because she said no and then took one anyway. Sometimes when living with people, there are things that you let go because you have to continue living with this person and don't want to start crap over a bloody dollar. I agree, it just seems really petty. I get maybe it's the principle of it, but they're right, he wouldn't have made her pay for the burger if she'd said yes in the first place, I'm assuming. So to make her pay just because she took it after saying no is punishing her, and that's really weird. However, moving on, I was scrolling and I happened upon a post from Unhappy Leader 4495, high intellectual individual, and you guys are brace yourselves because this is a bit strange. Okay, so here we've got some high intellectual individual took a bite out of my frozen pizza. Is this person okay? Yeah, I'm wondering the same. Are they okay, man? Their teeth must be hurting right now. I'm very curious about the thought process of this person. Did they see it and they thought it was cooked or something and they tried to bite into it? Did they know it was frozen? And God, I mean, they should definitely go see a dentist because things that are frozen are rock solid, especially frozen pizzas. And I dread to think of the state that their mouth is in after actually biting through that. Do you think maybe they were really hungry but they were just too lazy to put it in the oven, so they bit into it? and then they took a bite out of it and was like, nah, this ain't worth it. And the fact that there's like only one singular bite taken out of it, that leaves so much to question. Did they bite into it and was like, nah, not good frozen, and put it back? What is going on here? Okay, we'll end today's post with a post from Scottish Hideout, bye security deposit. Now they've given us some pictures, but I just want to read this little bit of text that they put underneath just for the context before I show you the pictures. But they are absolutely terrible. Posted on here about my schizophrenic roommate a couple of months ago. Update, he's punched holes in the walls and torn up his carpet. Me and my other roommate are currently looking for our own place and we'll cut him off once we move out. Okay, the first one, I think that's a door. It does kind of look like one. Actually, no, it could be the corner of a wall. But you can see like there's multiple holes in this wall, and these aren't just like little dents. These are like full on bam, 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 bam. Like he really had it out for the wall this day. And the second one, oh my god, that is massive. It doesn't look like drywall or anything. It looks like hard plastering, and he's punched through that and shattered it. And if you look here, you can see like clearly on this wall he's punched a hole in it before and somebody's patched it up. I don't know if it was you or your other roommate or if it was Mr. Punchy who'd fixed it, but he's just punched this wall again. Oh my days, and I've just realised something as well. The big gaping hole in this picture that we were originally looking at, that had been plastered over or filled in or whatever before. You can see that white stuff here. That's like what you use to fill holes in the wall. So clearly somebody's attempted to fix this wall and he's just punched right in the spot that you'd fixed. That's just, oh my god. Yeah, this guy's kind of scary, but also annoying at the same time. And there's a big crack in this one. It doesn't look like he's punched this one because it's not a hole. Maybe he's like hit the wall with something in this picture, but that, yikes, that looks quite big. It looks like it spans a good distance of that wall. And here's the aforementioned torn up carpet, and that's definitely not what I was expecting. Jesus Christ, man. This isn't just like he's ripping the carpet up, like off of the floor. He's actually ripped the carpet, because if you see here, like where that gap is, it's literally like, it looks like the carpet's been ripped. This guy's not tearing the carpet up, he's tearing it to shreds. Like, this is really scary, and look how dirty, like, the non-torn up bit of this carpet is as well. This is like something, I don't know, I've never seen anything like this before. I do hope that you guys can safely move out. I feel bad for this guy because clearly he's mentally ill, but this is a really scary situation to be in, like living with someone who's violent and they're like just destroying the place. You know, it's only a matter of time before they turn on you because they're clearly like very unstable. And I do hope you guys get out safely. But I also think you need to make it very clear to the landlord that you had no part in these damages, because if he thinks that you've all contributed to this, you could be charged for damages. You know, like, especially because they're quite severe. Like, I don't think it's going to be a case of just losing the deposit. I think that the landlord could take legal action, so just make it very clear to him, listen, we didn't do any of this, it was the other guy. But with that, guys, I'm going to end the post here. I hope you've had a good time today. It has been a while since I've looked at this subreddit, so I thought I'd bring it back from the dead. We have been well and truly fed today, guys. We've had entitled roommates, we've had gross roommates, we've had rude roommates, and even just like violent roommates. We've like literally collected all of them today. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you've made it up until this point in the video, thank you so much. That really means a lot. Please do consider leaving a like and a comment on this video, and if you like this type of content then subscribe to the channel because you'll get weekly Reddit content. And until next time, guys, bye bye.